Hello, people of the internet. My name is Odwor Jagero, and I am at Nyali Golf Club.
Karibu nyumbani.
What is the full name?
Nyali
Nyali
Golf Club.
No, it's longer than that.
Nyali Golf Club.
Nyali Golf Club. Okay. I'm going to be talking with a lady that I've known for a while now.
Be very precise that it's a lady.
It's a lady. You identify as a she, he.
Totally she'd.
She, her.
Yes.
Okay. And we are going to be talking on an amazing topic, which is basically happiness, how to achieve it, how to ingrain it in yourself, you know. And I know you are into the business of happiness. You told me that you identify as a neuro-linguist practitioner.
Yeah, linguistic practitioner.
Linguistic.
A neuro-linguistic practitioner.
Practitioner.
It's just a tool of the trade, basically. I don't identify myself with that.
You said why?
I am a transformational catalyst. There's a difference, eh? It's like me telling you.
Transformational catalyst.
Yes.
Yeah.
I support you to develop.
So let me finish with these guys.
Which one?
These guys, they need to know, yeah. So we are going to be talking about happiness. Happiness is something that has been elusive to a lot of people. And they usually wonder, how do I just live a contented, happy life? You know? It's a very simple thing to say, but I don't think it is simple to practice. Because of the noises around us, because of the things that we see, especially on social media. Sometimes I look at the people that we went to school with. Actually, somebody told me a story. That, you know, what makes me really not have happiness is that when I was in school, there are people that were very much below me academically. You know, they didn't know shit. But now I look at their lives, especially online, and they are really doing well. They are much better than me, right? So we're going to be talking about happiness, but first I want you to tell us who you are. Sheila is Toya.
Yes. Toya is my surname. So I am Sheila Toya. I am your transformational catalyst. Many people ask me, what is that? A catalyst does what? Speeds up your process of transformation. I tell people that we are going through life. At one time we were children, now we are adults. Some of us are soon becoming shoshos, right? And you have to be intentional about your life. If you're not intentional about your life and your very existence on earth right here, then you're in a lot of trouble. And that also, of course, makes us get into our topic at hand, that as an individual, happiness is a state of mind. You have to make up your mind that you're going to be happy. Many a times we go through challenges in life. I don't know whether you read my book. Anyway, Finding the True You was basically a book to help people to know how they can find themselves, no matter the season that you're in. We go through various seasons in life, good, bad. The good, it's easy for you to be happy, to be okay, to be content. But the bad is where we have a problem. For example, your guy that was talking about what?
He looks at the people that were
he's already at this place where he's discontented. He's discontented because he had this thing in his mind that having been a guy who was the A student in life, he would be above and on top of everyone else. But whatever happened to you being okay with where you are at? I don't understand. Yes, and life has made us agitate, you know? There'll be Jagero who's driving a better car than I am. There'll be somebody else who has, Kwajdala has more hair. He has a mane of hair and he's a dude. And I'm looking and I'm almost like, I can also choose not to be happy with my hair because Kwajdala has a lot of hair on his head. But guess what? I'm okay with my little hair that is here. So first of all, happiness is a state of the mind. But while we would want to say that that is where it begins, some of these things are actually foundational. Some of these states of unbalance in who we are, in how our brain is wired, comes from our childhood. I know you had also said we'll talk about childhood and happiness. So maybe you can
Yeah, I told you that, and that's why when you were squabbling and you're telling me that I'm telling you a lot of topics.
I didn't squabble.
Squabble, you berated me for telling you so many things at the same time, and in my head they're just the same things. But also, before you get into this, I want people to know you more. Where do you live? What kind of upbringing did you have? Things like that. Background on yourself, and then I'm thinking that now, and so that they don't ask a lot of questions. But who is this talking? What is her story?
So Sheila Toya, I was brought up. I am from a Luya background. I'm a Mnyore. From a background of we're 2 girls, 2 boys. My mother was on holiday in this city. Maybe that's why I came back to where I was born. So my mom was on holiday in this city, and I was born here. And then my mother went back. But she was having issues with her husband. And so, at some point, we moved. We used to live in Woodley, then moved to Jericho. So I actually say I'm a Jericho chick. Bred in Jericho. I went to Khalsa. Went to Muslim Girls. And then my mother passed on when I was in Form 2. Then I came back to Mombasa. Went to Star of the Sea.
To be with your dad?
No, my father and my mother had already divorced. And my father was already having his own family somewhere else. And so we were taken up by my maternal sister. 2 girls came to the woman, the sister, and two boys went to the brother. So we were split. So my background, that is where I'm coming from. I know about struggle. I saw, I mean, it's not like the rags to riches story or the riches to rags story. That was us. I know about struggle. I know about being chased. I was making somebody laugh the other day. They told me they have a kibanda they're selling fruits at Wakulima Market. And I was like, whoa, you must be tough. Because I used to do Wakulima when I was young. And the trouble that I experienced in that place, many years later, 50 years on, I can remember. No, not 50, almost. Yeah? I can remember how Wakulima was with all those sogi.
This is Wakulima in Mombasa or Wakulima in Nairobi?
There's only one Wakulima. Look at you, Jagero.
There are so many Kalulenis. So I would
but
think.
Only one Wakulima. In Nairobi anyway, when you talk about Nairobi. So I was born and bred there. No, born here. Bred partly in Nairobi. Came back to Mombasa. Then when I did Mombasa, I went into work, tourism management.
To start, you went to start.
Finished Star, went to college, came out from, never graduated, go work, worked in the lodges, Kiko Rock, all that, Mayfair, all that. Then finally got married, so I'm a mother. My daughter is 24. We graduated the other day. Where do I live? I live in Kilifi. Where do I work? I work in Mombasa and also partly in Nairobi. I live also partly in Nairobi. So that is my life in a nutshell. What do? I support people to develop behaviors of success as a counselor, as a person who's done neuro-linguistic programming, which deals with the mind, your thought patterns, mindset, of course, working on your mindset and your behavioral patterns. If I can be able to change how you think about a situation, then I can change how you act. And if I can change how you act, I can change your life. So that's basically what I do. Apart from, of course, the business consultancies that I do on the side. I hope that's suffices.
Yes.
And I'm an author, of course.
Yes. I wanted you to talk more a little about the NLP, how that works, and how it makes us who we are as people.
I basically have come to understand, looking at my life. First of all, people ask me, why do you do what you do? I have gone through life and the various seasons, and I have experienced, and also my working with people for the last, I won't say the number of years so that people don't wonder, but I started working very, very early.
People don't wonder about what?
people don't wonder, Yani, how long you've worked. I started working. I got married when I was 22. I started working.
That is 30 years ago.
Yeah. And a lot of drama has happened in between. We won't get into that. Maybe you'll have to buy me coffee so that one I'll tell you.
Can give us a little bit.
So I've been married, I've been divorced, experienced all that came with that now in my second marriage as well. And what I will tell people is that I have realized that many of the challenges we go through is a state of the mind. I have looked at my life. I've worked in the hotel industry. I've done wealth management when it comes to investing onshore, offshore, and all that. Business consultancy, my dealings with people. Jagero, our minds, it's a garden. Whatever you put in is what you get out. Garbage in, garbage out, trashy lifestyle. Put in something that is of value, put in a good seed, get a good harvest, have a better lifestyle. And when I realized that I have worked with people who have had a difference in their lives because of the power of the mind that they have. And I have seen people who I've seen people who have had nothing and have built themselves. I've seen people who have been born with everything and they've destroyed their lives, basically because of how they think. And that challenged me. So initially my journey began with going out to do counseling. And the counseling, when I went in, I was like, because I was working with people, dealing with people with their money. Anybody who trusts you with their money will trust you with their life. So you'd walk into an office. I'm looking at Jagero. I'm like, okay, we're here to do your wealth management. I'm here to give you your investment solutions. What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? And as I'm talking to you, you start telling me, you know my wife, you know my child, you know my mother, you know my what, you know my what. So I'm overloaded with all this, and I don't know how to handle you. So I ended up going into counseling. But the first part, the certificate part of counseling was all about, I realized it was all about me. It helped me go into myself, and really look at myself on a personal level. And that is where this journey began. So yeah, as you continue growing, you realize that yes, I need this kind of a skill. I've done mental work as well, mental health as well. So I am a fast responder when it comes to issues of
it will be interesting to know
mental health.
It will be interesting to know when you looked into your life, when you did what did you find?
I realized that I have had many hits and many misses, and that's all right. I keep on telling people, you'll hear a version of Sheila that you'll know, and that's okay, because I was that person. But the issue is, am I that person anymore? No. Right? So I have done good progress for my life. I've done good blunders in my life. And the issue for me has been, what have I done with it? So for me, I tell people, mine it so that you can get treasure out of it, even when you've blundered. What is the treasure? It's a living truth. What is a living truth? It's a truth that you have taken, you have learnt, you have understood, you have applied, and you have seen it work. And not only is it for your own consumption, but you also get to share it with other people. And I guess that's why I'm here today. So the neuro-linguistic programming was basically to further my skills, because then I realized that yes, the mind, we don't know nothing about the mind. We are not conversant with that, just how powerful your mind is, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. How do we make them work for us? Because your mind is your greatest servant, but your worst master. Yeah,
because talking about that, Onyango told me that, Jagero, something about us humans is that we go for physiotherapy. My limb is hurting. We go and take care of it. My back, and then somebody comes and does something to it. Yes. I've got a sore toe and somebody, but we don't stop and say, what is going on with my mind?
With my mind. And you see, many a times I'll tell people to do a mental detox. People do a body detox. Do you ever do a mental detox?
What is a mental detox?
Where you go back and you look at your mind and you break yourself down. You mentally debrief yourself. You can do it. I make it a point of every other day at the close of day, go back, draw in, plug in. What is going on? What was today all about? What happened? You start from the latest, your most immediate hour. So let's imagine you sleep at 10. So at 10 o'clock, take a moment and go back and say at 9 o'clock what happened, 1 hour ago what happened, at 8 what happened, until you go back to the very beginning of the start of your day. What went right? How was that? What was the state of your mind? Right? What did you do about it? What went wrong? What was the state of your mind? What would you do about it to make it better? So if we would begin to be very intentional to work on our consciousness and being in the present moment, mindfulness, many of us don't do that, Jagero. We live gravitating for the next thing. So you're always on the move for the next thing, for the
forward.
next thing. But you're not here now. You're not present. Now, being present is being mentally and emotionally here.
Yesterday, I went to different places. We arrived in Mombasa at around 3 a.m.
In the morning.
Yeah. Then drove to the hotel. It was such a hustle at the train station in Nairobi with all the equipment and everything, and I had to ask strangers to help me carry stuff.
Wow.
You know, it was so difficult. When I was in the train, what I kept wondering is, what is it that I've forgotten? Do I have all the cameras? Do I have the lights? Do I have everything? Kevin, the videographer, is sitting in front of me. Yeah. If I fall asleep now, what is going to be taking care of these things? And then I arrived in Mombasa, and the next day yesterday we were going to the Wild Waters.
I saw you there.
Yeah, it was very, and then we were supposed to go for a yacht cruise in the evening. It was raining thoroughly in the afternoon, and then we had to really walk, and transportation is very difficult here in Mombasa, apparently.
Why is it difficult?
It's difficult because I just realized that you try looking for an Uber, busy, you look for a Bolt, busy, and then I tried Uber, and it was telling me that apparently in Mombasa, they suggest the prices. Everybody's sending on their price, and then they expire.
And then you pick.
Yes.
So you have to pick the one that is your preferable option.
But then it expires so fast. Like you look at the screen, the next time you look at the screen, they're all expired, then you have to start again. Yes. And then we finally went to the yacht, and we had a beautiful, under the lights, because we started at around 5:36. So
because of the sunset.
Yes, so most of it was at night. I think half of it was at night. And so during the day there was a lot of walking, and I have a problem with my foot.
Yeah, you told me.
I have suffered plantar fasciitis for a long time. And although now it has gone really, really down, I started dialogues with Jagero, and one of the things that I've always wanted to do is to travel to fetch the stories. Like now I have come to Mombasa to look for you.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Yes, so and just moving around. So last night, before I went to bed, I felt that pain kompali. And that pain is very traumatic because at some point 2-3 years ago, 4 years ago, it was really, really bad, and it's a very specific pain. It's like a pin into your flesh. It's very stabbing and very. So last night at the end of everything that we had done, I was just lying on bed, and I'm saying, "Gosh, there is so much I need to do with dialogues with Jagero, but my feet, is this thing going to allow me to do this thing?"
What if now you see right there, that already is a wrong way of thinking. Because what did you say? Repeat that sentence again. I have so much to do with dialogues of Jagero.
With Jagero.
And then?
But is this feet going to allow me?
Is this feet going to allow you?
Yeah.
So what would happen if you asked yourself, I have so much to do with dialogues of Jagero. I need to find other ways of making sure that I do this. So already you program your mind into a particular path. It is not a resistance. When you say, will this foot allow me? At that particular moment, guess what? Your foot, the pain, is not allowing you. And you talked about trauma. So trauma is what you are experiencing, an encounter that you went through, how you experienced it, and the memory that comes as a result of the same. That's how I would say. So some people, sometimes you're overwhelmed. The pain is overwhelming. Probably at that point, you find out that you cannot work. You're not able to provide for yourself, provide for your family. So when that trigger happens, it sets off some dominance effect in your mind that goes, you know? So you relieve all that experience, and then your mind shuts down because you feel like you're not able to do what?
So what I felt last night was anger.
At who?
At myself, at how can I, these days what happens with me is that I'm so amazed at people who can just wake up and not think about walking.
And it's possible for you as well.
Yeah.
That what you can do, for example, if I need to be able to take the train, remember I was telling you, I hope you're doing first class and you're alive. You're like, good. You understand our conversation.
Yeah.
So if I have to do the train, excuse me, first of all, I'll do first class. If I have luggage, I'm not carrying it on the train with me. I'll send it ahead of me. I have a courier guy that does exceptional work, right? So probably next time what you need to do is to find out, can I have my equipment delivered? These are people you trust to probably cost you a little bit more. But guess what? You have the assurance that you're going to have a nice ride, you're not going to get pressured, you're not going to get stressed, and you'll have a nice time coming. So there are other ways that you can be able to engage. Next time, instead of having to struggle looking for Uber, don't stay at Uber. There's little cab. If you can get Uber, the little cab, go to Bolt. If not, then either hire, right? Hire yourself a car. You can do a half a day, less costly, but you're moving from here to here. Oh, engage. I live in Kilifi. I live like far. If I don't have a car, even if I have to get there, and I live in the middle of a forest, by the time these guys come, they also have a problem with taking me in. They'll be like, no, uko at Wendy. Uko mama at Wendy. So I either have to pay more, right? Or find my way in. So what do? I have guys that I can call that I will tell, I'm coming in on this day. So you pick me up from Twapa, right? Or pick me up from here, and then we'll be able to do. So there are ways of having to handle your business and not have to disqualify yourself, because already your mind is a sponge. It takes everything you tell it. Everything you tell it. Even if you tell it, if you begin to tell yourself, I'm going to make sure, I have a lot to do with Dialogues of Jagero, but guess what? I'm going to have a blast. My body is complying. My foot is going to be okay. So already your mind changes. That shift happens. It will follow wherever you direct it. As I said, your mind is a powerful servant, but a very, very dreadful master. If it has control over you in how it is in your thinking patterns, in how it is that you see things, in what it is that you say, then you are in a lot of trouble. So we begin to go back as we were talking about happiness, and there you are angry. Angry at this, like, I look at SGR and I'm like, so why do I pay 3K? And then I still have to shovel with people coming out. Yes, when I'm coming in, you're making me come in through the elevator, but the coming out is not a good experience. Yeah? So if I have to do that, either I'll make a guy even when I'm off, after all the jostling and all that, then you have to come to this sea of so many transport guys that are offering you logistic options. Then by the time you start, so I will call ahead, have somebody there who's waiting for me. I don't have to jostle to come out because the guy already knows he has somebody waiting for him. So it's a win-win for us. So the anger is at your state of being at that point. I mean, paying my foot, this thing, the disappointment. This is Mombasa. You're even complaining in the morning. Busy. Yes, guys will be busy, right? But you can find a way of tackling that challenge. And that's where, when we're even talking about happiness, it all comes to that. So if you're a guy, going back to the story of your guy who's complaining that the people who are the C or the D guys, and you know what it's saying? That the people who are A get employed with the ones that are average and below average students. It's a fact of life. God is always there for the underdog. So you who was over and above thinking like you are there, if for those that have aced it, well and good. But everybody deserves a turn in life. And this life, how do you hack it? Find that thing that works for you and work it. It's just as simple as that. Find that thing that works for you and work it. And learning how to be content. Many of us are not content.
It's difficult.
Why?
It's difficult to be contented. Probably it goes back to the mind, and because I'm not literate enough on things, the mind, I don't understand. I was telling you that there are things that you talked about the mind being a sponge and the things that it absorbs, right? That is the idea. It absorbs things. Mm-hmm. There are people that were told things. People that grew up in poverty that are saying, "How am I going? Will I ever be a millionaire? Will I ever be this? Will I ever be that?" And then it's in your mind, you know. And how do you begin to get out of it?
Let's go back to the very beginning at the point of conception, because many a times we jump here, but we have to go to the root. Let's go back to the point of conception. By the time Jagero is coming with your lovely wife, and if you as an individual, some of these things are genetic. Let's start with that, because we also cannot ignore that genetics play a key role in the mental state or how you are wired mentally. If a man is in his right senses and a woman is in the right senses, by the time you are coming together, the seed that is coming forth, first of all, if you're a person who has, let's imagine you're an alcoholic, right? Or you're into substance abuse, yeah? So by the time this child is coming forth, even in the womb of the mother, the external environment significantly affects the development of this child in the womb. So what we are clear, or what I clearly tell people, is that conception begins at that point. The mental well-being or the well-being of this child begins from the point of conception. In this day and age, we are telling people, eat healthy, right? Eat healthy. Eat organic foods. Eat foods that are building your body, determining the quality of your sperm, determining the quality of her egg. So that already, we start from there. So if you're not going to be healthy, then even the seed that you're bringing forth is not going to be healthy. It's going to have challenges. That's one point. Then when you come in, as you continue growing, while you're in your mother's womb, whatever it is that she's experiencing on the outside, you're also experiencing on the inside. So if your mother is mentally unstable, the fluctuation in mental, the emotional imbalance, psychological issues that come as a result of the same also affect you. So from the womb, you are already inclined, for example, towards drugs and substance abuse, towards mental imbalance, towards the emotional imbalance. The psychology of it all starts from there. So when we come back to our present moment, then you begin to realize that, yes, even in the womb, probably your father was like this. And then you've seen those things of being told, oh, you are named after your grandfather, and your grandfather was like that. So when you begin to know, it's only the truth that you know that sets you free or makes you free. When you know what you know, then you begin to take the appropriate steps. So in the womb also, that is already an internal environment that is subject to the external environment. And then once you have grown and you're out in the area that you are growing in, the schools that you're going to, yeah? The place that you are, your environment at home, how you think, how you are wired, is subject to also the environment that you are in, the schools that you're going in, whatever it is that whichever area you're exposed to environmentally affects and contributes to who you are and how we are not wired. What works for us, what doesn't work for us. You plug into that which flows easily. Personally, I used to have a problem with talk I used to talk a lot. I used to tell myself, Sheila, you talk a lot. You talk a lot. You need to muzzle it.
Yeah.
But then at some point, I told myself, instead of you struggling about muzzling and you keep quiet, and when you keep quiet, you're feeling like something is burning in you. Why don't you make sure that whatever it is that you're talking to people adds value?
Yeah.
You see? So the switch comes on, whereby now I'm not just telling myself, oh, unaongea sana. You talk too much, and then if you're with people, you talk too much. Until now, I'm proud of the fact that I talk too much. And in fact, if I don't talk, just know there's a problem. Either the problem is you or the problem is with me. Because then if I'm not comfortable with you, I'll also not talk.
Mm.
You see? So the balance to be able to know and understand who you are and what you are is one of the key aspects of being happy. But also knowing where you've come from. You're talking about Jericho. Many of the people who are well-to-do today trace their roots back to Eastlands. Talk about the Chris Kirubi, Peter Kenneth, all these people, Raila Odinga, every other person, even some of the people who were during my time. I see them today and I'm like, we grew up together. Yeah? What makes you do the transition? One, to know that there is a better life out there. Yeah? Mm. We used to go with KBS. That time, KBS, you do 59, 58, so that you can be dropped on time. If you take 59 and number 58, and they used to have a schedule. 59, 58, if you're at the bus stop at 6:15, you're good. If you delay by 5 minutes, the bus passes, you're late for school. You have to go and take number 7. If you take number 7, good for you. If you do not take number 7, you take 8B. 8B goes, comes California, Majengo, that side. By the time you get to school, it's late. The gate to school is closed. Now, the mayhem that was at my bus station and all that, it was crazy, right? So what did I make a decision for myself? Going forward, my child will stay 5 minutes away from school, 10 minutes away from school. I made a decision that, look, this thing of children, I see children in Nairobi waking up 5 o'clock, 5:30, being picked. Children who are in their pre-learning schools. If it's not play school, their formative years, the year 1s, it's crazy. What time does a child even have to sleep? It's too early for a child. And some people will say, yes, we're preparing them for life. But there's an easy way of doing it, right? So I would prefer my child to live in a school that we are living 10 minutes away from school, 15 minutes away from school. Until university, even the apartment she got was close to school. So her way of thinking and her way of looking at it, even as she's going through life, she knows that if I need to be in this place, I have to get a place that will only be 10 minutes, taking a cab or something.
Some people say that problems shape you.
Problems do shape you.
But how do you balance the fact that, okay, it's too much? Because, for example, in my life, I don't know if I can say that problems shaped me. Mm-hmm. Maybe, but for example, when I was going to school, it was very hard to go to school, high school. Mm-hmm. I started by biking to school, like waking up at 4 and biking to school to Lambo Boys. Mm-hmm. And then I lived with a family that is not related to me close to school. Mm-hmm. So that my mother thought I should be very close to school. Mm-hmm. But then also it was a very traumatic experience because there is a day that robbers came into his home, apparently to cattle wrestle. Mm-hmm. And I was caught up in that. It was a very traumatic experience. And then after that, my mother said, I don't know, for some reason the family no longer wanted to stay with me. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure about the details. And then my mother said, all right, so now let me go and get you a place next to school where you can board by yourself, because my family couldn't afford paying school fees, boarding fees. So what they did was that, why don't we get you a house, and then we will just give you manna and and unga and just do that. And I remember taking omena every day for a very long time.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So some people would say, and then the place I was staying was very ghostly in the sense that it was somebody's house. Some, in lowland we say there are people who go to Nairobi and never come back. So he built a very big house. It's not like big, that's big good, big nice. It was big bad. Like it was just a gable house, gable mud house, and then it had no furniture. So it was just looked like a church, and I slept there on my own. Just a single mattress in the middle of the room. In a strange home, something that's not very close. I'm not aware of the surroundings, and I would cook. There was no stove. There was no so I was using firewood to cook, and I feel like that life, in as much as somebody would say that life made me, there's so much trauma that came from it.
I think one of the biggest things that we have to do is to make peace with where we've come from.
Yeah.
Make peace with it.
What is making peace with
Making peace is acknowledging and accepting that you went through it and appreciating the fact that you came out alive. Settling some of those things that hang over our heads and tell us that, I went through this, we can't go through life with that chip on our shoulders. That's one. I would be appreciative of the fact that I tell people to practice being, gratefulness, gratitude, giving gratitude. You came out alive, Jagero. You came out alive. I mean, I've had stories. I hear stories and I get humbled. I tell myself, by the way, Sheila, your life was not bad. You should not even complain. And yet at that time, I was thinking this is crazy. Because I would still have to come home, take care of my brothers, take care of my mom who was unwell at that time. It was just crazy, So that phase of your life, as much as you'll say it really did nothing for you, it left a residue in you. You'll find either you're a person that can adapt anywhere, anytime, you can eat anything. I'm like that.
Yeah.
Right? You will not come and have attitude because of food. I can eat omena anytime. I can eat obambla anytime. You understand? It's only the other day that I went and somebody gave me kunde. And in an instant, it took me back there. In fact, I was in the same Jericho house. And I was given kunde. And it was the same kunde. It was like this. It was thready. I was chewing. It wasn't ending. It wasn't coming out of my mouth. I remember telling, I was like,
it was chewy. It was thready. It wasn't coming out of your mouth.
It wasn't ending, Jagero. And I was like, and I in an instant, I went back to my childhood, and I remember taking sugar and putting into kunde. But many years later, I appreciate the fact that the food that we were eating then was very healthy. Kunde is healthy for us. Now I know better. I had to eat. There was now the option of mrenda and kunde. The mrenda was a better option between the two. No, the kunde was the better option. So you'll find that there are attributes that you have developed as Jagero that you're having today that is a result of where you have come from. Probably you're a better money manager, probably. These things, it swings either ways. You either become a very good money manager, you learn how to be frugal, or you become a person who wastes because you'll be like, I went through a difficult time. Hey,
I have no time to. I've no time. Time to feel these.
Life is here.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy. You understand? It swings either way. And I have also seen parents who've gone through a difficult time in life, who put their children through a difficult time in life because they're like, I also went through it. Let them learn it. You understand? Why would you not qualify your daughter? I saw her that day at the office, all in it, in her element. Why would you now wake up in your sanity as a person, who has gone through what you went through, you understand the pain. You understand the desolation that you are feeling when you are in that house. Why would you as a father not seek to disqualify your child from that? And
they say I'm toughening up.
You understand?
I'm toughening up.
Why would you want to toughen her up?
I'm toughening up.
You paid the price. Why did you go through it?
I like that.
You paid the price.
Yeah.
We need to learn, and that is why we have to create better societies. The children that we are bringing, I'll give you an example. I used to tell my daughter, you need to wash your clothes, wash your clothes. And at some point, I remember letting go of all the helps. I would have a help would come and clean, maybe once or twice in a week, and then her clothes she had to wash. As smart as she is, she started paying them. But I would tell her, you need to learn how to wash your clothes. She's like, Hero, her apartment, when I went to visit, I was like, this girl knew what she wanted. She has a dishwasher. She has a what? Washing machine for her clothes and for the dishes. We have to come out from that village mentality, that ghetto mentality that we were brought in. That scarcity mindset, it's a state of mind. The scarcity. I'm not saying not to teach them, equip them so that in the unlikely event that they find themselves there, they're good to go. But we also can't limit them based on our understanding of what life is. These children are totally futuristic. I went into her apartment. She has a carpet thingy cleaner. She has a dishwasher. She has a machine. She washes her clothes with a machine. Nothing to, and she's okay. So I was limiting you, or we as parents tend to limit our children. The world has evolved. Can you imagine us guys being Homo sapiens, telling them, go and look for game there and bring? There's a butcher. You don't even need to go to the butcher. You can even now call, what is it called? These guys deliver to your doorstep. We are moving in a world that is more efficient. So I think one of the things is that we refuse to move with the times. One, we refuse to make peace with our past. We've come from there. We have our scars. We have mine over here. I got burnt in class 4, going to get water from the cooker, and poof, it poured on me. Sour. Today, does my child have to boil water on a sufuria? No, there's a kettle. In fact, you don't even need to boil water in the kettle. You can have an instant shower, or you can switch on the heater, or you can do what? So understanding your situation and your circumstance and appreciating them in that, appreciating yourself in that present moment is key. But based on where we have come from, because we all have issues. We all have issues. We carry these skeletons that are working with us. We actually carry dead things. Those things are dead. You're no longer that boy who was doing omena and ugali. Now the tragedy of life is to find a father today. I'm not saying that it is bad if that is your only means. That ugali and omena is what you give your child. If it is, we celebrate and we give thanks, and we have to be able to tell our children that appreciate that this is, at least you're having a meal on the table. But the tragedy would be for Jagero, having been where he's been, now coming again. So you are you are here transferring the trauma you've gone through. Instead of having healed yourself from it, you're transferring it to your child. Or you're transferring it to your workers. Kevin is here. You're like, I've seen people who, we can sit here and we're eating chicken, and you tell Kevin,
or the drivers that are kept in the car.
We just transfer our trauma. We're transferring our heart. You went through it so that somebody else doesn't need to go through it. For the longest time, I used to house people, even people from the streets.
Why is the trauma still coming back in nightmares?
You haven't dealt with it. Book yourself with a session for me, and let's tackle.
I dream that I am late for school, and it's raining and it's raining and it's raining and it's not coming to an end. I still dream that I'm seeing that maths teacher teaching, and I was telling my guy the other day that from the gate of the secondary school, the school is on the hill. The gate is at the top of the hill. So you make that lonely walk towards the classrooms, and every teacher that is there can see you. They can see that you're late. I still have nightmares of those things. Like I have a nightmare that the exams are coming up, and they're coming up. And when last was I in school? In 2001.
So that's unhealed trauma. You have memories from yesterday. Within us, there is that child.
Yeah.
Within each and every one of us, there is that child.
Yeah. We have what?
There is that child within us. That child that was walking up that hill.
Yeah.
There is still business that you need to do with this child. There is that, I tell people, you have to go back. You have to go back mentally to that time and to that place. Emotionally, you can take yourself back there. And you can look at that Jagero that is in that house. You can go back to that house mentally. And you can see this child, and you can experience this child at this moment. And you can experience yourself in this moment. I even have somebody that I'm navigating with this right now, right? And I tell them, this child never died. This child lives in you. So what we have to do is to go back and meet this child. And what do? We get to that place where you as Jagero relieves that moment. Now, some of those moments, some people will do hypnotism, no, but I tell people, exercise your mind. Exercise your mind, because every time you take your mind to paths, get out of the familiar, get out of that which is comfortable, get out of that which you are used to, because it gives you a sense of, safety. Launch out into paths unknown. Now, what does that mean? You have to go back there. You have to take your mind there, because every time you do, you build new parts in your brain. We've been told we're not even using, we're just using a very small percentage of our brain. Now, the more you exercise your mind, you build neurons. These are like centers that receive information in your brain. And the more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. And now that alters your behavioral pattern, your emotion and your behavioral pattern as a result of the same. So you go back to that time. You relive that moment every other time. Every other time you feel that there's closure, you go back to that child and you encourage this child within you. And you tell Jagero, you know what, Jagero? You've done well. Supposing your mother was there with you in that house. Supposing there was an adult who was there with you, who would tell you, Jagero, you're doing well. How old were you?
Form 3, Form 2, Form 1.
And you're like, boy, you're doing fine. Against all odds, look at you.
The other day I was walking toward that road, and I could feel the goosebumps.
I feel it now. And you see, that's we lose out on those moments, because that's a now moment. That is when everything concerning you is aligned. Mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, you're in that moment. Now that's a moment of transformation. Because when you do the digging, when you mine the gold in that experience, you imagine even if it was that teacher who would see you coming every other day, and instead of caning you, imagine what would happen to you if this teacher would just tell you, Jagero, how are you? Did you even take tea? Did you take porridge?
They for them, they just thought that I am a malingerer.
There you go. And that is the problem. And even when we go back and there's a person who advocates for children's rights, I tell teachers we need to have a humanistic approach to handling children. Because many of these children come to school when they're abused in their homes. We have to create safe, self-sharing spaces. And I and you and Kevin has to be a person who is a safe space where I can come to you and tell you anything. You're coming and I was like, me, I don't want to sweat. Why? Because I can tell you like that. And I'm telling you, and you're like, oh, Sheila, And I'm like, why? Because I know I can tell you those things and you'll be okay with me. Right? Imagine if that teacher opened that door to you. Imagine if they became the caregivers that they're supposed to, not just to tell you about one times one.
That reminds me of my math teacher. He did that. I was very poor in maths. So one day he called me. He's called Mr. Majwek, retired last year. So he called me into his office and told me, in school they used to call me Ken Anthony. So he tells me, Ken Anthony, come, let's have a chat. And he told me, you know what? We have a fact on the table that you're not good enough in maths. But I can see the languages you're doing really well. I can see that you're doing very well in biology. I looked at your physics papers and I noticed something, that you only tackle theoretical questions, questions that say, explain why if you have charcoal, charcoal will not burn in the sun as it would under shade. I see you tackling that very well. But when it comes to making the calculations, you're avoiding those questions. So I looked at your math papers and I feel like the problem that you're going to have with your grades is that maths is really going to be a sore thumb in your grades. It's you're going to get an E if you're not careful, and it's going to be the only E in your transcript. So he told me that there are questions that I don't want you to answer in your exams.
Wow. So
if this is a graph, I want you to tackle B, the B1, and the 2. Forget about it. Forget about the rest. Don't draw the graphs, because you're not going to draw them. There are other questions, nautical miles, and all these things that tan theta, don't attempt them.
Yes.
Because what they're going to do, they are going to waste your time during examination. So what we need to do is to take you to either C minus, or C plus.
To make sure at least you ace something. Buffer you against going to
Yes. So he told me, he went through, I later came out that he had conversations with about 8 students that was supposed to do. And then he told us specifically the things that we shouldn't do. Because in his estimation, we are wasting a lot of time in things we don't get. So put your mind in this other.
You can.
Yes. So, at the end of the day, when the results came back, I had a C plus in maths.
See that.
The only C. All of them were B and above.
But the risk was that you'd have probably gotten a D or a D minus or an E.
Yeah.
So it took for this person to touch you. I tell people, touch somebody.
Yeah.
We need to learn we are human beings. We are social beings. The thing is that I think the more modernized we are, we've become more, me, myself, and I. Mine and mine and mine. No, we are social beings. If only you cared for somebody else. If only you'd go out and really put yourself in this other person's shoe. Right? If you put yourself in this other person's shoe, you will make life better for them. Make life easier for them. And we're talking about now, how do we even come out? We say there's always a better life. First of all, no, there's a better life. I struggled about buses. I said, I don't want to do buses. When I have money, I will not do buses. So every other time, you disqualify yourself from something and qualify yourself from something. Because this brain, as we are talking about the brain, you can qualify yourself to be happy every time. Disqualify yourself from being sad every time. And how does it begin? By you just making up your mind that you're going to be happy. You're going to be happy. If you have 10,000, eat your 10,000 in peace. Don't agitate. No, there's 100,000, but don't now lose sleep.
I like the word, don't agitate.
We agitate a lot, and that's why you see people getting stressed. Our stress levels are at an all-time high. And the interesting thing is that the people that have not are stressed because they don't have it, because they want to have it, and those that have it don't know how to enjoy it, and are living distressed lives. So what about just being happy?
It's difficult.
It's not difficult. And you see, that right there is the big problem. I've gone to people who...
You're looking at other people out there.
Stop looking. Look in here. Look in here. Look here. You could have gotten upset. You are late. I came to the set before. You could have gotten upset. Did you come? What happened? Aren't we having a shoot now? Aren't you having a nice time? You could have said, oh, the taxi drivers were late. Oh, I don't know, it was raining. Oh, I didn't know we have to set up. Oh, well, no. But you came, we sat, we were sitting. We're looking for this, we're looking for that.
I was very
that you want to hear when I don't have them to tell.
I wanted you to tell me that Chakero, I have spoken with Akinyi. Akinyi has told me that she has spoken with the people at the club, at the Nyali Golf Club. They have said that it's okay to bring the cameras. Mm-hmm. It's okay to shoot here. Mm-hmm. It's okay. We are not going to be stopped and things like that. You were like, it's going to be easy.
I told you, for me, easy means it's flow. It's all systems go.
Yeah.
That's my language of saying we are good. For me, I wouldn't have told you to come if I know there's going to be trouble. No, I know about shoots, I know about takes. Even me, myself, I don't want to come to a set that has issues. I will not come. Yeah. So, because I also don't want to be disappointed, I have to make sure that you are not disappointed. And one thing that we have to learn is stop, everything doesn't go according to your script. Jagero.
According to your script.
Yeah, you have a script that I should tell you that everything is fine. And yet I shared screenshots. I'm telling you, yeah, it's okay. Everything is laid out. But because you want it to go according to how you want it to go, then we have a problem. Whatever happened to just going with the flow? For as long as there'll be a shoot, there'll be a shoot. For as long as everything else is constant, you know there's power. You know that your equipment is not going to be destroyed. You know that nobody is going to come and tell you from the main gate that you're not coming in. You know that you're going to have... Here we are. So now you ask yourself, so what were you getting anxious over? Yeah. You are getting anxious because of the state of your mind. There's this script that you have put. This is the path you want to walk. This is how it should be. This is what we're going to do. Life isn't like that. Life changes. Our ability to be happy at any one time is our adaptability. Our being versatile, to just rise up to the occasion. Yeah? I traveled. My daughter was graduating. And as we were graduating, my trip going into Cyprus, I was on standby. Right? All my other relatives, theirs was confirmed. Mine was on standby. So.
The visa, you mean?
No. Ticket, flight. So I get to the airport, everybody else is confirmed. I'm on standby. And here you have a daughter who's saying, Mom, you must come, you must come, you must come. I don't have a problem with don't have a problem, Dad. But for you, Mom, you must come, you must come, you must come. So I'm on standby. So I'm on standby from here to Turkey, Istanbul, and then after that, then I do the connecting flight. So I can sit and agitate and say, I'm on standby, I'm on standby. Am I going to get on the plane? Am I going to do? No. What do? I get to the airport, I report, I'm like, I'm on standby. Is there a space? And this person says, hold on, let me confirm how the flight is. I could have started agitating. I don't know whether I'll get there. I don't know whether I'll arrive. I don't know whether there's a seat. All that is not in my hands to control. So you handle it.
How do you deal with it then, specifically? How do you deal with that?
You handle things one step at a time. That's one step at a time, get into the cab. One step at a time, get to the airport. One step at a time, pass through screening. One step at a time, get to the desk, check-in. One step at a time, getting check-in. Okay. Flight, yes. Well, I have to wait? No. Let me confirm how the manifest is. Okay. There's a slot you can go. I went. Coming back. Huh? Oh, madam, that your flight, you're on standby. Are you able to confirm me from Istanbul into Nairobi? Sorry, I'm not able to. So what do? I'll check in your luggage direct to Nairobi. You understand that you'll find your luggage in Nairobi, which is what I wanted because I was carrying a lot of her stuff back home. Been helping her to bring in her stuff. I'm like, no problem. So I'm like, so what do? When you get in, when you have gotten into Istanbul, the lady that will be checking you in, she will let you know. I get into Istanbul and it's crazy. It's a crazy airport. I can agitate. Oh, am I going to?
I see.
So I was put on standby. But from Istanbul into Erjan, I had confirmed. It's just some of those things. So I get there and she's like, oh, I was the last one to load. to board, sorry. I pass in through the gates and she shuts the gate behind me. I would have been agitating. Am I going? Am I not going? No, I'm at peace. I'm like, if I'm going, I'm going. If I'm staying, I'll stay.
I'll go back to my daughter.
And I have to take a flight back or stay one night in Istanbul, which I don't have a problem with. So you put yourself at a neutral state. You balance yourself out. You set your intentions that you're going to board, that this is how it's going to be. You're coming, you're going to shoot. It's going to be wonderful. Everything is going to be it's going to go exceptionally well. I don't have a problem. But in the event that it doesn't happen, then you deal with it at that point. Anxiety or anger or discontent happens because we have failed to flow, to go with the flow. And as a result of the same, we experience a lot of resistance. So mentally, it starts. So there's an overload. And then your mind is flaring up. And even as your mind is flaring up, guess what? You realize that it triggers you into something else and then it goes. Yesterday you called me and I told you my BP is high. There was something that was taking me there. Right? And I tell people, I teach or I tell people what I apply in my own life. And I was like, Sheila, stop getting agitated. It's not something you can control. So what should you do? Sheila, one, I was like, lie down, take things easy. Take things easy. Right?
Leave the floor, the door, so that you can hear those ones. Go on. Okay.
Funga them lango. So I told you about sweeping. Now you agree. You agree? So I told myself, Sheila, this is something you cannot control. It's not within your ability to control it. So what should you do? Let it be. Take it easy. Take time out. I come in. I told you I had a slight accident. I'm turning in. The picky guy comes and runs into me.
When you were coming this morning?
Yesterday at night, because I slept in Yali. Yeah? And this guy runs into me. I mean, by the time I'm looking at this guy, I'm like, dude, what's your problem? I can get into it, and I'm like, you messed the car, what? But already the guy is shaking. I'm like, Ndugu, what is your problem? Stop. I said, I'm only praying for you to go home safely. He was shocked because, in essence, anybody else would have told him, you need to pay my car. Yeah? But I told him, are you okay? Yes. You're not hurt? No. I said, please go in peace. Just make sure you go home. What's your rush? You've seen this guy stopping. He's not stupid to have stopped. Why didn't you just wait? Then you're coming, you're the smarter one, and you're coming, and here we are. We're having an accident. So, being in the present moment, living in the present moment is important, Jagero. You have asked for a cab, you don't get Bolt, do little cab. You don't get little cab, do Uber. Yeah? Go with the flow, finding solutions and adapting and moving along with it is okay. And just that moment to be flexible. Intentionally being flexible. We have to learn to embrace flexibility.
Where do people start when they feel like something is not all right with them? They are developing a lot of anger towards people, their loved ones. They feel like they have a lot of baggage. Where do you start?
Ask yourself what and why. What is causing this? Why am I feeling?
Sometimes you don't even know.
What am I feeling? I'm angry. Why am I angry? My foot. The pain in my foot. What exactly am I experiencing? What am I thinking? Why am I thinking this? What can I do about this? How can I be able to ensure this doesn't happen? What do I want to do? Ask yourself those questions that take you into yourself. Why am I angry at her? Because she answered me badly. Why did she answer me badly? What did I ask? Could I have asked it in another way? Is she having a challenge? Is it something I said? Because you have to ask yourself, it starts with you before you go to the other person. Then now I'll say, okay, so Jagero is mad. Why could he be mad? What could have caused his anger? Now I know. you are thinking, I'm not answering the way you wanted me to answer. So next time I know, dealing with Jagero, I have to give you full script. In fact, I'll call you. Or better still, you can call me. And then we can have what? A conversation. Because me, I'm like, okay, let me even give you a screenshot so that you can know this is how it's going. For you, you want A, B, C, D, C1, C2, C3. You understand? You're a person who wants the whole drill. And that is what makes life beautiful. That I shouldn't expect you to be me. Me, I'm just space up. You said, what time? Okay, and I flow. Some people break it down. And that's the balance of life. Some people go quickly, some people come slowly, some people do it in the details, some people, it's okay.
Men have a problem with seeing people like you, not like people like you as a woman, but counselors, people that can walk with you on that journey.
Yeah.
I have a sister that I think should be seeing a therapist, but she has always refused. I don't know why, but probably because, and other people also say that it's very difficult for men to see a therapist. Now they will feel like, so I'm going to look stupid, I'm going to look like I have no control over my life. Why is it that people don't like seeing therapists?
I think the stigma that comes with you seeing somebody, we need to demystify the aspect of you seeking help. It's okay to ask for help. Right now, sorry to use this politically, our political leaders on this side and on this side are going through their thing. Maybe the president wants to see someone. Maybe the one in the opposition wants to see someone. Does that make him any less a president or any less an opposition leader? Don't they consult? Don't they deliberate? Don't they come together and have a discussion as to how things should be or what they should do? What makes it any different when it comes to your life, your own mental health, your own emotional well-being? Why should it be different? It's because of the stigma. The stigma that is involved with you as a man. I have male clients, and one thing that we do when they come in is that I tell them it is okay to cry. I had this particular guy, and I don't do my credentials. In my wall, I don't do credentials because many people will disqualify themselves from coming to you. When in actual sense, all this that we're doing, they're just tools of the trade. But what I do is just to give you a safe space for you to come and unravel you. Anything else that will flow as a result of the same is not subject to what I am qualified for, right? And he kept on telling me, my wife tells me to come and see you, but I'm not crazy. Already, it's like, I'm not crazy.
Maybe it's the wife that is talking in a...
Maybe it's the wife. Maybe it's what the wife told him. That I'm a psychologist. I don't write those things, and no.
Where did we learn that psychologists deal with the Madari people?
That's the whole point. That's why I'm saying the stigma that comes with the misinformation of what it is that you're doing, how it is that you're doing it, and what it is that people have done and how they've done it. So you coming, and he was like, I'm not mental. I said, but that's not what I do. So we kept on, I said, come to the office. So finally, on this day, he says, I really need to see you today. Could you, and if I do a house call on you, I charge you an arm and a leg for it. And it's like, sends me that I got to this place and I was like, whoa. I was thinking I'm dealing with Jagero or Kevin. Where? Big fish, big papa. Right? I get to this place and I'm like, okay, now I understand. And I get in, and the first thing that he does, he says, would you like to drink anything? Can I offer you some wine? I said, okay, I'll drink the wine. To somebody else, but you see, it's something that has been a challenge in his home because of his drinking. So I took a glass, he said, can I add you again? I said, okay. I said, no, it's enough, I'll have some water. And by the time we were done, this guy told me I haven't cried, I don't know since when. And I only said one word, something so small. I gave him one sentence. And the next thing he was bawling, crying, and he has not cried for 30 years. And I was like, and it's okay to cry. And not saying, oh, Jagero, now why are you crying? Look at you with your beard crying. A whole man crying. And do you know, since then, the referrals that have been coming are epic. Because then he understands. who I am and what I do. So we need to destigmatize the fact that men can cry for help. Men are burdened, and I hope that even you as Jagger, I don't like what you do with Otieno and Guadjala when you guys are hanging out, going to Chomayo and Nyama and all those checking football. Because I know in the course of that, when people are comfortable with you, they can tell you their issues. And they can share. Why? Because one, they know that whatever is shared there in Ngong stays in Ngong. Right? Whatever is shared in the car park will stay at the car park. You're not going to come out and start doing what? Telling everybody else's, somebody else's issue. So we need to create safe self-sharing spaces in our homes. We need to have that as parents, as partners, as couples, as families. It has to begin here so that in society it also flows and in every other place, even in offices. That's a conversation that is worth having, because if we did, then you can come and say, nimepigwa ngumi, and I'm not going to laugh at you. Ulipigwa kwa nini? Yeah, we see men who take their salaries, take to their wives, they are being budgeted for, yeah? But we will navigate it based on where you are at. I ask you, Jagger, so why do you give all your salary to your wife? Is it that she doesn't trust you? Not to come and say, mwanamume mzima kama wewe, pesa unachukua unapelekea mwanamke. You understand? But understanding how to help people handle their issues is what will change society. And make sure everybody is happy. So happiness is a state of mind. But let's also understand our balance. Let's look at ourselves. You know, sometimes the way your body, when you look at your vitals, when you go, you realize there's an imbalance in your minerals in your body. Also, the food that we are eating significantly contributes to the happy hormones, you know, endorphins, serotonin, all these things, dopamine. We have to make sure that we are eating healthy. Let's do the fitness. Slackened a little bit, yeah? Do swimming, go into the wild, get some sunlight. All those things help us to be happy. So it's holistic. And of course, being grounded in the spiritual aspect, that there is a God that loves you and cares for you and has good thoughts for you, good plans for you. It's not always going to be dim. No. Today you don't have, tomorrow you'll have. For as long as you know that there's a having to look forward to, you keep on encouraging yourself and just continuing, but being content with where you are at in the present moment. Let's live in the present moment. Right now, I was telling somebody I want a discovery for. Am I going to die because I don't have a discovery for? Yeah. I saw my brother, he went and he bought a discovery for. And I was like, ooh, dude, sleek, he bought my car, you know? But I'll do my ride now. I not have a problem with anyone. Are we together? And I'll enjoy the fact that at least I can be able to go. Now with the economic times that we are in, somebody was saying, do we go and fill the car petrol? Because now it's increasing tomorrow. I said, I wire myself that there's money coming. And when money comes, I'll have enough to do what? To ensure that I do business. So it's just a small switch. Remember, be the master. Don't let your mind take control of you and take charge of you.
A lot of the last probably the part of this conversation that we're going to have, there's a lot of people saying that marriages are suffering, you know, people getting a lot of divorce. There is no understanding in marriage. I always think that, you know, I'm just living with a stranger. I don't know them much. Even my brothers, I'm still struggling to understand them, you know, 40 years down the line. Why do you think marriage is not like any other relationship? Is it?
It's a very special relationship.
It's too intimate.
It's very intimate, but it's involving. It's work. And you see, the problem is people fail to grow through their marriage.
Mkubwa, please pick the pekeles. Pick them up because they are pika kelele.
Sorry. I think for marriage, what we have to agree is that marriage is work. And the thing about marriage is that many people don't want to do the work. And then, as I was saying, people fail to grow. So you get married, we were both single, we were young, we would do safari rally, go everywhere, look for safari rally. As a mother, will I do safari rally with a nursing child? Understand? You're in a different season. People need to grow and move through the different stages and move together. I once saw, I read in T.D. Jake's book, Reposition Yourself. He was talking about how a man and a wife can be like a pilot who decides he's going to navigate his plane. You come out of your plane, you go, you taxi, you go, you take off, you're in the runway, only to get to your destination and to realize that you left your wife and take off. She didn't come with you. So the intentionality of bringing your wife and your children along with you, you'll see people making sacrifices. The man will continue, CEO, what, but the wife is stay-at-home mom. And then the next thing, the man is eloping with the secretary who's in the corporate world or whatever, she's with it. Why not bring somebody along? So as we grow, let's journey together, let's grow together, let's be intentional to move together. Let's not leave each other behind. That's one problem that I've seen with marriages. People tell you, oh, we've grown apart. You've grown apart because Jagero is busy doing dialogues. Yeah. Your wife is busy doing. Yeah. At what point do you guys come together? Then the children are left in the mix of it. You're doing this thing, your wife is doing this thing. Everybody is just all over. So by the time you're busy pursuing and you've achieved it, you've lost the very core of the very essence of why you are doing it anyway to begin with. Not because you're not just doing it for yourself, you're also doing it to make sure you're providing for your family. So how does it profit you to gain everything and lose the love of your life or your children or this family? So the intentionality of being the objective of being very intentional in how you navigate your life together as a family or as a couple or as an individual. The commitment, first of all, to yourself, that you will not lose yourself. Many times we lose ourselves. When we get the money, we lose ourselves. When we get the opportunity to travel the world, we lose ourselves. We forget our objectives in life. What is our vision? What is our goal? Why are we doing this? What made us start? What do we desire to provide for my child, to provide for your daughter, to provide for your family? And then after all, you get it and then you lose them. So just that grounds you. Yeah? But marriage is work. But marriage is fun. As much as they are difficult marriages, they are also very good marriages. There are people who married that shouldn't have married. They should have just stayed friends. There are people who should have stayed friends first before they got married. There are people who don't even know each other. It was just the sex. Let's be honest. And sex, no matter how much Otieno is good at this and that and the other, how often will you have, you can't be staying every day doing sex. Sex is probably just 10%, and a crucial 10% of the relationship. But the rest of the other aspects of marriage come into play. Yeah? So if you are not going to be balanced, then that is why you find there's such an imbalance. Because many people, it's all about eros, the erotica. What happens when there's a dysfunctionality? When you cannot function? What happens? Do I leave you? What happens when there's no money? Do I leave you or do I? And people are getting options, isn't it? People are doing dildos or whatever. People are getting boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever. Yeah, because it's menopause, it's erectile dysfunction for men. Yeah? All these other things. There'll always be something. But you have to stay true to who and what you are. And be committed, first of all, to yourself. And then to the other person to make things work. And life continues.
Now, when somebody wants to see you to start working with you in this journey, where do they start? They call you? What happens?
We'll share the details, but you can book online. We can do physical meetings. Yeah, I am available.
Great. Thank you very much.
Karibu sana. Thank you for coming to my city.
Yeah.
All this way.
This is Nyali is not Mombasa.
Nyali is Mombasa.
Kilifi is not. When are you going back to Kilifi?
Today.
Okay. So I have to look at these guys and tell them that I hope they like the episode, right?
Yes, as we keep walking.
Yeah, Johnny Walker. I want to give a shout out to Nyali Golf Club for giving us this venue.
Yes.
And, very short notice.
Yeah.
I don't take it very lightly that people always welcome me. I don't take it lightly that you welcome me in Nyali.
Yes.
You decided to organize where we are going to stay.
Karibu sana. You can be a social member. You can be a social member. Yeah. If you're not a golfer, you can still be a social member.
So thank you very much. I hope you liked this episode talking about the mind.
And happiness.
And happiness.
And choosing to be happy.
And choosing to be happy.
And choosing to control your mind. Because let me tell you, I've seen people who have nothing, Jagero, and they're the most happiest people.
Especially at the coast, they just sit under the coconut trees and just laugh the whole time.
And drink Madafu and have no problem. But you and your Kempinski dinner that you're agitating to.
Agitating, like the word agitating.
And we have people here who live longer. We sit by the beach. We have a free beers. Life is what you make it. So make your life count. Just live, enjoy your life in the moment that you're in, at the level that you're in. If it opens up easily, let's just not agitate towards it.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope that you will leave a comment. Please find time. Watch the other videos that I have done. Subscribe to the channel so that when we have one out, you're easily notified. Hit on that notification bell. Until another episode, bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.